What's up, guys? This is Kyle from Wax Museum. Hope everybody is doing well. I want to do something a little bit different for you today. As you can see here, I've got my Flickr account pulled up. And for those of you that don't know, Flickr is like a photo hosting site. And I guess, I was big into collecting in the early 2000s. And at that point, everyone had their photo bucket. That was a real big deal. And photo bucket has since kind of gone by the wayside. I know technically it still exists, but one of the options that people moved on to after that, even some years after, I should say, is Flickr. And I know a lot of people don't use Flickr now; they use Instagram, which I do have an Instagram, but I like Flickr because you can kind of sort things better. So as you can see here, I've got some different categories. With that being said, there's still sometimes I don't know what folder to put stuff in. So that's my miscellaneous folder. I thought it would be fun to go through that today and do a little bit of a deep dive. There's 55 photos in here. I won't go into every photo in detail, but I want to show you some of my miscellaneous stuff. Some of it you've seen on video before. Some of it you probably haven't. I don't think I've shown every card off here. These first few I'm sure you have seen on some of my LeBron videos or my 75 greatest videos. These are some of my LeBron cards here. Of course, I've got my BGS 85 Chrome Rookie. And I have a lot of trouble photographing BGS slabs. So if you've got some hints out there on how to do that, let me know in the comments. Give me, help me out a little bit here. But I've got that BGS slab. Then I also have this one here that's kind of unique because it has a piece of, as you can see on the label, a LeBron James worn Olympic jersey. And that was part of a program called G-Gum, where Beckett would take pieces of, an authenticated jersey and put it in the slab as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. I got that at one point for like $40, so that was pretty cheap. Here's a dual patch here from Upper Deck with Larry Hughes. Everyone's like, oh, it's a shame that Larry Hughes is on there. I think it's a great card nonetheless. Got a LeBron patch, barely a two-color here. And then I know I've talked a lot about this one before. This is the stat line set, where this is a game dated patch where he's also pictured wearing this exact jersey. Not only that, he put up an amazing stat line. Take a look at that: 39 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. So stat line, at least in innovation, it was only around for a couple years, but one of my favorite sets of all time. I've contemplated doing the set since I have the LeBron and some of the others, as you'll see here in a moment. I don't know if I'll ever complete it, but I definitely do try and pick some of them up when I can. Here is a Steph Curry, which I've shown several times before. That was gifted to me from a friend. So thank you once again, G. Another monster stat line, 37 and 6. And I've got Kevin Durant, which you've seen. I don't know, or maybe you have or maybe you haven't, but Panini used the rest of this jersey in some of the other sets. But this one actually shows him wearing that jersey. I've got a Blake Griffin. So I've got a few here that are game dated. Another game date, I guess I put this in there next if there is any sort of order. This Carmelo Anthony is game dated. So I liked some of the early performance art, the Court Kings patches, not huge patches, and neither was the innovation, but significant nonetheless. I've got a Kobe Topps MVP promotion. I know I've talked about those on the channel before, but basically there were certain years of Topps where each base card had this corresponding, 100 of these MVP promotion stamped parallels where a lot of people didn't even see them as a parallel because, if Kobe achieved a certain status throughout, a certain week throughout the season, you would send them in and you would get a redemption set. So people didn't really view these as a parallel then. It was more so like, this is a redemption. I can turn it in for something else. So Kobe, a lot of those got redeemed. A lot of the lesser players got thrown away. I snagged this out of a dollar box. It was bricked in a whole stack of Topps base from that year. So very happy to have that one because I would venture to say there's a lot less than 100 copies out there. I've got this next up, this Wilt warm-up here. I've done a video about this. It says 1972 NBA All-Star Game warm-up. You can go find the video. It is not from the NBA All-Star Game. It is, in fact, from a NBA versus ABA All-Star Game from 1972. I talked about Statline earlier. Here's a later iteration of Statline. It kind of moved to some of the other products. So it actually moved to Panini Preferred at one point, and you can see here. So it's got really nice looking card in person. This is acetate, this portion here. Pretty big game from Kyle Korver, too. It looks like he hit 6 3-pointers, scored 27 points. Okay, so there's another MVP promotion. This one's Jason Terry. Look at that giant suit, right? That was a lot more common, of course, in the late 90s and early 2000s. This piece here, I don't know if I've shown this before. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but this is the front and back of a check that Fleer wrote to Ron Artest, and it looks like it was cashed at the end of his rookie season. So I'm assuming that was for that season's all of the autographs they got from him that season. I don't know. I wish it told how many cards it was actually for, how many signatures it was for, but they gave him $6,000. So I imagine that was for, quite a few signatures, because these athletes aren't making a lot on these cards. But you can see Ron endorsed the check on the back. So that's PSA slabbed. I didn't get it slabbed, someone else did, but very happy to have that. I imagine it came from the Fleer bankruptcy auction, where they had a lot of that stuff still on hand. But anyway, that's a very unique piece for my Ron Artest collection. And you can see I've got some other Ron Artest pieces in here as well. This is a 2013 gold prism. He didn't have a lot of cards with the Knicks, a very short stint with them, but that's one of his better ones, definitely. And they use that picture on a lot of other stuff. There's just a basic Lakers patch. This is from 2005 Topps 1952 style. It's the blue parallel. The reason I really like this copy, though, is you can see he's number 93. And the reason he chose 93 is actually because the 9 is a Q and the 3 is supposed to be a B for Queensbridge, which is where he's from. I know Ron wore a number of different numbers, but that's the reasoning for 93. And this card also is numbered 93 out of 149. This next card here is probably a guy, unless you're a big Texas Longhorns fan, a guy that most of you haven't heard of. I think he's been in the G League the last couple of years, but it's Kerwin Roach. And the reason I have this card is I found it at a card show. This is from a Topps Chrome product that never ended up hitting the market. And somehow some of these leaked out. I think the player ended up selling it to someone, and it got out on the market. As far as I know, all other copies have been destroyed. I've been told that all copies are destroyed. I've been told that no cards from this set exist, but I know that's not true because I own one. So unless someone else shows up with one, which I'd love to see if there's more out there, but unless that happens, this is the only card from the proposed 2019-2020 Topps Chrome basketball set. I think they were trying to cash in on Zion, and they didn't get the rights for him, so they just scrapped everything. Okay, some more random stuff here. You can see this is why it's a miscellaneous folder. Not everything is connected at all. Here's a 2004 Kenny Thomas Topps Chrome Superfractor. I think I was doing an episode on superfractors early on in the podcast, and or maybe one on Topps Chrome or something. But as I was doing that, it's a dangerous thing doing all this research, because then you start looking up cards. Well, that card was on eBay for $40 and I snagged it. Now $40 for a superfractor would be amazing. That shows you, just how far we've come in this short span here. That was probably early 2019 when I bought that. This next one here I have shown off in some of my Jordan stuff before, but it's the mirror image refractor with Ron Mercer, and then there's a couple other guys on the background or on the back of the card. The etching's a little bit off, and you can see it you can see it in this scan, but I got this card at a shop for $8, so I'm not going to complain about that. And then here, this is one of my favorite pieces. It's not really a card, but this was my season pass for my Bobcats season tickets. I had Charlotte Bobcats season tickets for 1 year. The stars kind of aligned where I was living there for a short time. I lived close to the arena. They had an amazing promo. I got 2 seats for like $150 total. Sold my Lakers tickets for $140, sold my Thunder tickets for $90. So I basically got the whole season for free. Didn't have to go to every game if I had to work or whatever. So that was just an amazing time. So I've kept that pass as a keepsake, because it just brings back a lot of good memories. So that's also why I have some Bobcats cards in here. And I guess they're probably going to come next in the order here. The first one is Boris Diaw. And this This is how they used to kind of get rid of the old materials after a player was traded. They still do some of that now. You're seeing that come back in National Treasures because they're trying to get rid and liquidate a lot of old patches. But this one was a Boris Diaw card. And I grabbed that. I have some fun memories with Boris Diaw when I was in Charlotte. I know at one point I saw him show up to the arena riding a Segway. Someone else told me that he was walking his dogs in the park with a Segway, which I never saw that. But the sight of that or the thought of that kind of made me laugh because there were always jokes about his weight and how he was out of shape. So the thought of him just walking his dog on a Segway kind of put gas on the fire there. Here we have a Gerald Henderson patch, nothing special about it, but he was just a real nice guy every time I came in contact with him in Charlotte. Some DJ Augustine tags. This set, I every time on Twitter someone posts a card from this set, whether it be a logo man, a tag, or whatever, because these cards are numbered to 50, everyone freaks out and says, that can't be real. But they actually did have some logo man cards in this set. This was before they were losing the license, really a season before that, but they kind of knew what was about to happen. So they started liquidating some stuff. So this exquisite set is absolutely loaded. So doesn't mean everything in there's legit. Maybe someone has swapped some stuff out, but just keep that in mind. Context matters. You have to look at the year. You have to look at the situation of what was going on. All right. Just some other random patch cards here that I like that I've picked up over the years. I've got this Klay Thompson. It's the gold version of this Spectra patch numbered to 10. This Russell Westbrook Jumbo Thunder patch, I think, is numbered to 25. You don't see patch cards to 25 that big anymore, seems like. This Kevin Love here is numbered to, I think, 5. I think there's a possibility that it's finals worn. I've done some research into it. I have no way to prove it, though, but just based off of what material they had at the time and what they were using and what they held back from the preferred booklets, I think there's a chance. I don't want to say it is, but I think there's a chance. Okay. Got a Dirk nameplate patch here. Got a Mario Hezonja card. I know that one's kind of random, but I just like that Court King set. Brian Evans 96 gold platinum medallion, which the proposed print run of those is 250, even though it's not actually on the card itself. Those are nice looking cards. He went to Indiana, which is why I've kind of picked up Brian Evans cards when I can. There's not a lot of them out there. Got a Luke Longley. I think that was purchased with Panini points way back in the day. A tractor trailer inscription card here. I've been kind of getting into inscription cards lately. So that's, one that I picked up years ago for cheap. I don't know if I think he is trying to write tractor here. Not every player followed the instructions. I saw, and I think I put it on video this summer at the Indiana at the Midwest Monster Show. Someone had a koozie that said Coos, and I was really jealous of that one, but couldn't afford the koozie, but I could afford Robert Tractor Trailer. So there you have that. Rest in peace, Tractor Trailer. I know I also have a Flip Murray, which I don't have in the album here, so I need to get that one scanned and get that sent in. This Fleer checklist here, I sent in the mail to David Stern. He signed it, put Hall of Fame on it. I ended up getting it slabbed. I ended up getting several of those slabbed and moved several of them, but he also sent back this card here, so I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, I've got a pair of Victor Oladipo cards here. You can see this first one. I really like these, and I wish there were some Pacers in this set. I bought this when Victor was on the Pacers, but it's part of his draft combine jersey. And Panini was putting those in some of the, I don't know, the Father's Day, the Black Friday products or whatever. But I thought those were cool enough that they could have gone in a regular product. But anyway, I grabbed that one. I'm going to hang on to it, even though I'm not a big Victor fan now, but it is what it is. This is a 2013 Prism Oladipo. Also my favorite picture or scan of a card that I've ever taken, because I think this one just pops way more than some of the others. That used to be one of my absolute favorite cards. Unfortunately, Victor kind of, has fallen out of favor with Pacers fans. So I've kept some stuff and gotten rid of others. I still have it, but I have had it at my card show inventory lately. Just nobody's grabbed it. Okay, nearing the end here. I've got this is a Jay-Z Topps Total printing plate that I pulled. I've got a Charles Oakley printing plate. I actually bought that on the way to my wedding. I bought that on ComC. Kirk Snyder 101. I always pick up these Topps 101s whenever they're cheap. A Luol Deng Reflections 101. I've got a whole stack here at the house of just random 101s. Whenever I see them cheap, I grab them. This is something different here. This was, I think it was sold at the 97 ABA reunion, which was like, I think the 30th anniversary or whatever. But this is a Steve Chubin nameplate. And this is kind of the paperwork that went with it that shows that this came from the equipment manager. He was the trainer of the Pittsburgh Pipers. So not a big name player, but I think I got it for like $50. And it's hard to get a full game worn letter for $50, let alone an entire nameplate from an ABA jersey. You just don't see ABA relics out there. So that was a no-brainer to me. Okay, next up, we've got a Tiffany Mitchell. I have a very small Indiana Fever collection. I don't have them all scanned in, but I do have the 101 here, the gold vinyl. Got that on ComC for $37, and that kind of launched my Tiffany Mitchell collection. I've since seen her play in person once, so that was pretty cool. I've got this Giannis. You saw the Klay Thompson gold earlier. This is whatever version is numbered to 5. That's what this is. And this is one of their darker uniforms that has a picture of the buck on the front. And this is the nose of the buck. It's upside down. It took me a while to figure that out, but there you have it. All right, this one here, this is from like this worldwide exhibition game that they had overseas in the mid 2000s. This is a 101 patch. I've shown this one off on the channel before, but a lot of people have never even seen that set because they're all 101s. Okay, we got another Meta World Peace or Ron Artest patch card. Got a Mark Cuban autograph card. That one just walked up to me at a show one time when I was set up. And not a lot of on-card Mark Cuban autographs. The ones that are out there are from Upper Deck. There is some Leaf stuff that's on sticker, but it's nice to get an on-card one where it actually labels him as, I think it says owner right there. It's hard to see it, but labels him as a team owner as opposed to just, celebrity or whatever the Leaf ones call. Got my Kobe shoe card here. You've seen that before on him several times. Got my Lillard stat line. Unfortunately, there is some damage on it. It doesn't show up very well in the scan, but it's creased kind of bad. And then my Russell auto, my Chris Paul patch that I got at a show recently, and then my Dolph Schayes autograph. So, I thought I would change it up a little bit, show you some random cards and give some of the stories behind it. Because that's what we all like to do, right? We all like to talk about our cards. So it's nice to be able to recap and take a trip down memory lane and show some of the stories that go with them. So let me know in the comments which one out of these was your favorite. Maybe you have a Flickr page like this as well and you want to share the link. Feel free to do so. Remember, there are new episodes of the podcast. That's the audio podcast that come out every Thursday. And as always, thanks for watching.